We're live from Natural Intelligence, which is my Substack. It mostly covers where AI touches humanity. As of late, it's been a little bit more where AI breaks, with some side quests in satires about The Godfather and Succession. And the reason I have Dan here today is because I recently did a post about if you are a brand in of yourself on Substack, almost like a solopreneur here, what kind of brand clarity do you have? What is the sort of spine of your story? Is that coming through in your content? What resonates most with your audience? Has it ever turned into compound presence, meaning, extra, like amazing growth for you? And I did a couple different versions of this. Some of it was just starting out with friends on Substack where I took their data and built a few things for them. But I figured a lot of people would want me to do it for them as well. So I built a DIY version. And Dan has been going through the DIY version himself.
Yeah, that's correct. So for those who don't know me, I'm Dan. And I've been going through Jen's DIY Substack analysis. So I bring you good tidings, great feedback, kind of a first person perspective of what I thought going through the process, as well as some of my own learnings. So this is really kind of more of like the roast of Dan and his Substack, and what we've learned through Jen's surgical informative tools to analyze it. But I also think that there's a lot of really like great learnings that I came with. And so I'm never one who's like had like a multi-month plan for what I was going to do with my content. And so I think for anyone who's looking at Jen's paid tier and thinking like, what might I get out of this? Um, yeah, this is going to be kind of like the expose on what you two can learn um, by investing. So yeah, that's it. Um, yeah, a little bit about me. I have a cat. My cat was on here earlier. She'll probably come back again. I've got 3 different beverages on deck. So we got coffee, kombucha, mango flavored. And then I got water, ice water.
I only have one thing, and it's water. And I was thinking about having grapefruit juice. And I was also thinking about maybe having Prosecco. All I have is water. I actually am a huge fan of having like 5 drinks at the table.
Yeah.
Not kombucha, though. I can't get into it.
Really? Why not?
Tastes weird.
Someone's learning that. I'm gonna take that as hearts for kombucha.
Is it? Maybe it's hearts for it being August 1st.
Okay. Well, we'll know.
Okay, so I'm going to give a little bit more context because
Please.
you were like, "Oh, I'll do the founding member so you can run the analysis on me." And I was like, "No, that's silly." Like, cuz I know you're AI fluent enough to walk through it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I did give you preview to the prompts because they haven't all released. There's still 2 more episodes. Becky Hayward is next week.
Yeah.
And her post includes the brand brief. And then Kyle is the last episode, and his will include the visual register map. And so I was like, oh, this is very cool because I battle tested the prompts myself, but I only have so much data and it's just looking at my own stuff. So, and I'm already like very deep into dashboard land. So, it's not like super novel for me. So I was actually very grateful and thankful that you were testing them.
Yeah.
And getting your output. So walk us through it. Also, I feel like you need to show people your like super fancy dashboard. Your dashboard within a dashboard.
Yeah, we can do that. Sweet. All right. So first, starting from the beginning, before I share my screen, what I received was like a list of prompts, right?
Yep.
And I currently have like my own. I've got a couple different domains where I host a lot of different things. But what I'm going to show you is one of my social command um, spots. So I'll go ahead and share my screen, and then it's going to get weird. Well, it got weird.
Okay.
Okay, so I can no longer see the chat. So if someone gives me a compliment, just read it out loud. Okay,
Well,
so
yeah, Andy said to hide the porn.
oh yeah, I definitely had. Yeah, I had to click out of like 30.
Also, hide the surgery photos, the befores, the afters, all those
Oh
things.
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean,
Those
we can pull them
those
up
don't
late. We can
those
pull
don't
them up
count.
later, but that's like the dessert. Then this is a veggies first.
Yeah, we're a broccoli first. We're a broccoli first kind of community.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, this is my dashboard. This is where I do a lot of my content work. So there's a lot of different things going on here, but suffice it to say that in my tools section is the Untouchables dashboard, and this is what I created based off Jen's prompts. So there's basically 5 different steps that I've discerned from Jen's Substack analysis prompts. The first starts with an overall diagnoses that goes over your subscribers, your total followers, your email stats on and all your different posts and notes. This does include notes. It also goes over growth all time, and also your audience location too. So you can see where your fans are in the world. And so I just want to show you this is the beginnings of the diagnostic report that it gives. So it goes over monthly growth, phases and flags. So you can see here, I started my Substack in February. We're currently in July. It flagged seed states in February and March, acceleration phases in April and May. It correctly found a life event in June where I decelerated. And then it's saying that, through July, I'm reaccelerating. So this is really good data. It goes over moments. So just breezing through this, um, it has the Crosswinds interview series and the collaborations with Jen, like the podcast episode launches, as the main contributors. So shout out JHO for the collabs there, because that's my reacceleration moment. It also goes over growth source breakdown. So if you're someone who's posting your content on LinkedIn, Insta, Facebook, Pinterest, anywhere really, whether or not you're getting hits on search like Google, um, or whether or not you're like me and you're mostly getting all of your followers through Substack. So here it's calling me out saying that my social is dramatically under leveraged, which is true. I don't know if anyone can like actually read this report, but is also giving me. Can you see this, Jen?
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of tiny, but can I interrupt because
Yeah,
part of the it's
sure, man.
this is like tech meets tech because your interface does not look like a normal chat LLM interface. And so I imagine like for most people who are using the prompts, this is the output that would just come up in chat, right?
Right.
Versus yours, um, it's nice because some stuff is stationary and then some stuff is probably interactive. But basically, what happened was the very first prompt asks users to export 5 files from your Substack dashboard. And it includes your subscribers, your growth. There's something called posts, which has all of the engagement data for all of your posts that you've had, even if you've deleted them, anything that's ever been archived. And then I also threw in the 2 audience location CSVs. Um, it doesn't always produce material events, but I did run this for Stevie Duffy because he's trying to market his book. And it did find that he has a pretty big following in Nigeria, which was like kind of unexpected for everybody. So it's kind of more comprehensive than it needs to be. There might not be anything in the geographical data. Dan, JHO has, not me, JHO, the other JHO, Jen Hole has a question, which is, did you create the dashboard based on my prompts?
Um, I kind of just one shot it and had to integrate the dashboard based off of what I already have in my content command um, studio. So just for reference, so everybody's not confused, this is my content command studio. This is where I can dream up different notes, tweets, LinkedIn posts, Facebook posts, Pinterest pins, Reddit posts, make a combination thereof. I've got drafts for, every sort of thing, like Pinterest pin drafts, all sorts of stuff. And then I just automate it myself because I found that paying for a monthly subscription sucked. And I wasn't willing to pay like $60 to $80 a month to get all of my media posted where I wanted it. Um, so, yeah, and then it's got its own metrics dashboard for myself. But one thing going so I just kinda gave it Jen's prompts, then was like, "Hey, build me a dashboard where I can have all this stuff for when I want it." And then where I can re-upload different files at a different state in time. So in a couple months, I can re-add these files and then rerun the diagnostics. And then I just export all of this and put it into, into a Claude MD file in my Obsidian, so that way you can reference it and compare over time. Um, so hopefully that's good context. Good question. Ask more follow ups if you have it. One thing I want to highlight with Jen's prompts is that it was detailed enough to highlight when people interacted with my stuff. So there's moments here where people gave me like some very high quality shout outs, and it's recommended like, hey, you should go, you know, be friends with Patricio Cuesta, because he wrote a really thoughtful note on July 10th.
Wait, what to say about me?
Um, appears in the growth data as both a podcast guest and a mutual note participant across multiple July entries.
That's
She
me.
ended the publication. Credits one subscriber. Shout out.
Nice.
And the highest engagement relationship in the data set. Aw.
Woohoo! Look at me.
Reader, collaborator, recommender, and guest. Um, yours probably says Dan Korus is some fucking weirdo who won't leave you alone. Block immediately. So
Dan Korus. There's two Dan Koruses, and one is okay, and the other one's danger.
here's a
Yeah.
question, Jen. There's archetypes, right? And this is the
Yeah.
first time I've seen these archetypes. So it told me that I'm the multitude and I have elements of shadow as well. What are the
Okay.
different archetypes? What do they mean to you?
Okay. I'm going to stop you for a second because Des Kennedy. Time out. You can chill now. Oh, and Becky with the good hair's here too. Hey, Becky. Des Kennedy's on, and he joined a few minutes late. So he was like, top line what you guys are doing in 2 minutes. So I just wanted to pause and catch up. And it's perfect because Becky just walked in too.
Cool.
We are going through the Untouchables methodology, which is finding clarity in your brand voice if you are a solopreneur type on Substack. It's an exercise and methodology that I've run on a few other Substackers. Becky's episode is next week. And I also knew a lot of people would be curious to run this themselves. So I created a bunch of prompts in Claude so that people could do it yourself and DIY it. Dan actually did the entire thing just using the prompts. And so we're kind of going through it. He was pretty excited with the outputs. And the thing that is an extra layer of complexity here is that Dan has this like very cool Batman dashboard. So it's like a dashboard within a dashboard, and he's basically walking us through it. Any other questions before I go on to Dan's question? Okay, the chat is so far silent. So, yes, the archetypes. So, one of the first things, I love a taxonomy, right? I love to classify things. And I was thinking about,
Oh,
I like can't stop. You should see like my cooking oils and my spices and my flowers.
yeah.
They're all organized and they're all in
All my homies fuck with taxonomy. Keep going.
they're all in uniform containers that are labeled, and it's very pleasant to look at. So my first thing was that you have to have your brand presence very clear and very holistic on every touch point in order to sort of cut through to your reader. And it doesn't mean you have to sound the same and write the same in notes and posts, but your message and sort of what, is important to you, that should be clear cut. And every moment that somebody reads something from you is a chance for that to absorb. And I call that compound presence. It's like your presence is compounding. And so it's like people are better understanding you. And I think people really need to absorb a writer and understand them to want to subscribe to them and to want to hear from them continually. So the archetypes are actually what might be stopping you from being very clear. And the first one was the suppressor. And so that's where, we all have multiple dimensions. Maybe we have dualities, and maybe we're actually suppressing a part of ourselves because we don't think that's appropriate for Substack. And so the example with Shannon was she's like highly credentialed, and she has to be because she effectively works in the healthcare space. But the moment she sort of set that aside, that's actually when her growth took off. And so it was sort of like, don't lead with your credentials was sort of the message in hers. The shadow is actually one of my favorites, and it ties back to something that, okay, chat, just ignore the dashboard because the stuff we're talking about is totally digestible, right?
Should I stop sharing?
Yeah, you can stop sharing, but because I think the dashboard is like so Batman that everyone's like, what is this? And then you can also see the chat. I mean, the funny thing about this is that at some point you said that like you thought I was really AI fluent, and I don't have all those gizmos, Dan. So
Well, one thing we could do is we could do like a live recap from this, and we could post some actual screenshots of the report, and
yeah,
look it up. And so that's what we could do.
yeah. I think so. Later, maybe I'll share, or you could share yours,
Yeah.
the brand brief, because I think
Yeah.
the beauty of this is it's trying to make it super accessible and legible to users. So if they're not as fancy as Dan Korus, they can still get the insights out of it. Okay, so the archetypes, there was the suppressor. The shadow is kind of one of my favorites. I say, I don't know if everyone follows basketball, and if you follow basketball, if you follow the Warriors, but that's sort of like my hometown team. And Draymond Green is the shadow. Like, he is so passionate, and he's like an excellent team player, and he can change the literal temperature of the team in a good way on the court. But he's also the one that like might punch another player and then be banned for 3 games. So the shadow is sort of like when you're letting your dark side leak through too much. But at the same time, you don't want to make the shadow go away because it's the passion that fuels that. And you would lose like his team spirit, his ability to like turn the game around, his ability to unite the team. So it's my whole thing is, how do you integrate these things? And it sort of doesn't surprise me because when we did the podcast together and we were talking about the EQ diagnostics, you said that you rated pretty high on empathy, but that sometimes, was it like impatience or anger would leak through, or
Impulse.
impulse? That's your Draymond Green.
Yeah. I think this is a compliment. So
It is. It is. I think I was the shadow at work too, because I would get really angry when people like didn't understand, or like, I just wanted 2 things at this work job once. And I basically was like, I want our work to be something that we're proud of, and it has to be on time, right? Because it's like fiscally responsible and marketing's very deadline oriented. And
yes.
people were treating me like I was asking for something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they literally were like, didn't you come to California to take things easy? And I was like, sure, life work balance, but like, I'm like, we should still do a good job at work, and that's like the version of work I want to produce. And so to me, that was my shadow when I would get angry about, the sort of lack of reception at work.
Yeah.
Um,
Talk about
then,
talk about the multitude. Oh,
oh,
sorry.
I was just going to. Thank you for the segue, Dan. Because that's what you predominantly got, right? It was like multitudes with a dash of shadow.
It was a multitude. Yeah.
Yeah. So my theory is this. I think probably the majority of people on Substack are the multitudes.
Cool.
And anyone who's a polymath. So anyone who, and I'm sorry if that was a big word again. Should I bust out like the dictionary for everyone? Because I thought it was all the AI terms, but maybe it was some of the sociological terms or anthropological terms. Um,
Persons,
polymath.
things.
Polymath is like somebody who has multiple passions. So a lot of different interests, and all of them are genuinely exciting to them, and all of them are authentic to who they are. And I think I'm very much in that space. I spoke with Charles last week, Charles Saint, and he came back as the multitudes. And so, it's like Dan Korus, he's obviously into AI, he's into leadership, he's into EQ, he's into CrossFit. He's apparently into Dungeons and Dragons and other role player games, right? Like there's many things that constitute Dan. And which is fine and unique about you, and that it's not something you should ever suppress. But there's a through line that connects all your passions. And I think once you name that and you write from that place, it makes it makes you so much more legible as a person. And it'll make your Substack that much more legible. So that's you.
Cool. So let's talk about that for a bit because I think then in one of the future dashboards, you had this thing called the North Star.
Yeah.
And tell us what's the North Star and how can it help people who are the multitude into, weaving this thread throughout all their different facets.
Yeah. So the origin of the North Star sentence is because a lot of work that I've done in my corporate work and in my consulting work has been making brand books for people, brand books for brands, not actually for people. So I almost look at this entire exercise as your personal brand book. And the North Star is effectively your spine. It is the backbone that connects all the parts of you. And the interesting thing about it is it's both a reference point, like it's something that organizes all of your passions and personality traits. But I call it a North Star because I think it should be the filter for the way you speak and move in the future. And so once you have the sentence nailed, a good test of it is to run it against all of your past posts and make sure everything fits. When something doesn't fit, it's interesting because I have found when it doesn't fit the North Star sentence, it tends to be the lowest engaging content.
Mm.
You sound like you just had a hot dog.
I think so how long should it take someone to find a North Star sentence?
It's what I spend the most time on when I do these cases because it has to be perfect and it has to be defensible and it has to be something that you're like, this is me and I'm proud of it. And if anyone said, I'm not sure, that you'd be able to like defend it to the death.
Yeah.
And so however long that takes. So some people that I worked with, I got it immediately. Like Charles Saint, I sent it to him. He was like, it's done. He was like, I have said a version of that many times. With Shannon and with Becky, there was some iteration.
Yeah.
And Shannon said the first version I produced was a little corporate. And I was like, sorry, because, I spent decades in corporate. So I do tend to err a bit polished, a little veneer, like a little, it's not as loose as real people are on Substack. And also with Becky, we did a few iterations and I actually covered the iteration in our post. But I think there's a prompt for it, and that should get you most of the way there. And then you battle test it. You can give it more content. You can say, this doesn't comprise this piece of me that I think is important. Um, it's, I was about to say literally, it is very much a process. What you put in is what you get out.
Yeah.
So,
When you're writing a new post, do you run it against your North Star? Like how often how does the North Star show up not only in use your past body of work to define what your
yeah.
or sentence is. Um oh,
Hi.
Judy.
Zuni's here, but she's just walking around on the floor. And I didn't bring any treats, so I can't lure her to the camera.
My North Star sentence is I love my cat.
No.
So you use your past body of work to build a North Star sentence. And that tells you, okay, here's who I am. This is something I can, defend. This is something I say a lot. All my best posts that I like fit this.
Yes,
You're writing a future post. How do you use your North Star?
it's the same thing. It's so there's actually a prompt for this
Mhm.
because there's one to generate your North Star,
Right.
and then there's 5 questions to run against it.
Okay.
And one of the questions is, what if the medium changes? Meaning it's not Substack anymore.
Mm.
It's a
Mhm.
podcast, it's a book, it's a different platform. Does it still hold up? So I think for you, since you have like content command,
Mhm.
you can, and I don't know if this is how you use AI, but this is how I use it when I write. I will do an audio dump of something I'm thinking of. And I'll just say, like, blah, 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 blah. Like, this is something I want to write about. Like, I need research. And like, this is how I'm thinking of outlining it. And, is there anything I didn't think of? And, if somebody knew nothing about this, like, what do I have to explain first? And in that audio dump, you could also say, how does that fit with my North Star?
Mhm.
I'll give you an example. So I haven't written my North Star yet because I haven't done the whole process because here's the other thing I will say. We are all basically founder-led brands because we're all writing from ourselves, you know? And in some ways, I think we're organically already pointing everything towards a North Star. It's just, I think it becomes that much easier once you've said it aloud and committed it to paper. So I know mine is something about joy and resistance,
Mhm.
even though I haven't put it on paper. And something I always do try to incorporate into all my posts is having grace. So even if I'm like taking something down and saying like this is wrong and like the algorithm is messing with you and Substack is acting like a VC run company and it's no longer a newsletter site, it's a social media site.
Yeah.
Um, I explain it in a way where I'm like, that's human. This is the pattern. They're not doing anything different from any of their predecessors. And that's my version of having grace because I'm not saying like they're outliers. I'm saying like this is just how humans move. And so in a way we shouldn't be surprised by that.
Yeah. So for those who just joined us, or joined in the past like 5 to 10 minutes, we're talking about Jen's Untouchables framework as a Substack kind of solopreneur analysis for your own Substack performance and personal branding, basically. And we've been going through my analysis so far. We're about a third of the way through almost. We just finished talking about the North Star, which is step 2. Yes.
2.
2. So, do you wanna pull up should I show this brief, the HTML brief that's generated?
Yeah. So step 1,
Pitch it.
it's all the exports and it does a data read, right? And it tries to show like when you were growing, when you were lagging. It tries to point it to, what posts you had and see if there's any connection to what you were writing at the time. The one caveat I will say is there could be something algorithmically happening that's also tweaking things in the background. But if it's happening to you, it's happening to every person on Substack. So this is trying to find things that are unique to your own experience here. The second piece is generating your North Star. And so making a sentence or two that basically holds up the spine of your work for past and for future. The third step is battle testing the North Star. And then the fourth step is the brand brief. And to me, this is my favorite part because I love a dashboard and it's kind of like a dashboard. It's basically a very pretty HTML file that you can open in any browser, and it has different tabs. And something that I adjusted with it, because the first version I did had my branding. So it was like parchment was the background and the font was my choice of font and the accent colors were my choice. And I was like, I don't think I should actually shoehorn this in and crowbar it in on anyone who uses it. So I adjusted the prompt to say, suggest a color scheme and palette based on the tone and vibe of the user's Substack posts.
Oh shit. Okay.
Which is which is why I asked to see yours, and which is why I was like, oh, I like the colors it chose for you.
Okay, cool.
If it was really smart, it would be like Kestrel Edge colors, which I feel like it actually kind of vibes with Kestrel Edge branding. But
Yeah, I think it does. Do you want me to pull it up and we can kind of go?
sure,
You can give everybody kind of like a little guided tour of it.
yeah, pull it up. And are you able to pull it up so it's not within your dashboard and it's just the HTML file in a Chrome browser or something like that?
I do have the HTML shown as if it's in a browser. Does that count?
Okay. Well, I sure you can show it that way, but I think if it's just in a browser, then that's all we see, and we don't see the shell of your dashboard, which I feel like was intimidating a lot of the viewers.
Um, yeah, sorry. Um, I wonder, okay, if I download the HTML,
Yeah, download it and just double click on it, and it'll open in Chrome or whatever your preferred browser is.
okay, lifelong learners. Hey, I did it. Okay. So just for people who've recently joined, I'm now out of kombucha, and I think 4 minutes ago I farted. Did anyone hear
Did not.
that?
See, that's the beauty of the headphones. It's like just your vocals, I assume, right?
Okay, chat is silent, so it must be news to them too. We are getting some hearts, so maybe it was a good one. My younger brother calls them mating calls, which I think is funny. Shout out gut health, Susan. Shout out. Des said he heard the fart. Okay.
Mm,
Um,
he who heard it dealt it.
yeah.
Okay,
Anyways, so
this is
here's
the brand brief.
yeah, show us this. This is mine.
Okay. So the colors are selected based on whatever vibe they picked up from the titles of your Substack posts. And the first screen is an overview. And this is basically, it should be like how many subscribers you have, how many followers you have, and there's always this question about whether or not you have paid on or not, and when did you turn it on? And if you did turn it on, how many conversions you have. And so this is my first time looking at it. What does it say under 5 months, three distinct gears? This is probably something about your growth curve, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So we've got a couple different phases.
Mm.
It's got my seed phase, my surge. It's got 3 different surges and a build phase. So I've had some explosive moments, and also some quieter months. And it's calling out my leadership field as a bullshit problem essay, my duck shit essay. Um, a couple notable recommendations that started coming through. Um, it it calls out the fact that I don't have a paid tier. And then it also, if we go down, it kind of gives a growth pattern read. So it tells me that um, I have content moments. There's and platform application, which are kind of my 2 bursts, and it also calls out like conversion percents from the post. So it's also calling out, I've been doing a podcast for the past long time. But I just recently started putting it onto Substack, and it's saying that that's a good move, as
Oh,
well as
great. That's
Crosswind
interesting.
Series is functioning as like a third engine. My entire report basically just calls out the fact that I'm doing a bunch of shit, and it wants me to have all that shit be more on like one path. You know what
Okay. Like
I mean?
they're disparate. They don't point at the same thing.
Well, I think I well, I mean, Yeah. Not disparate, but just that
They're all about leadership
they are
and
all
emotional intelligence, right?
wants me to have a more consistent through line between it. Uh,
Ah, okay.
you wanna tell us about the data read
Sure.
tab?
Yeah. So the data read should be basically the synthesis of the Substack exports. And so it's doing what I see. It's top by engagement rate and then top by views. And what else is going on? And then
Compound
there's some,
movement?
oh, yes, I love a compound moment. So, compound moment is where, all engines are firing and you're seeing growth from it. Um, so that's good that you have one and it looks like it's telling you it's something that you can replicate.
Mhm.
And then I see it has the attribution of where subscribers comes from. Scroll down because, oh yeah, this is I. So this is something I either need to apologize for or tell everyone you're welcome for. I find Substack's data to be slightly suspect. I'm not sure what attribution model they work for. Um, I'm assuming it's last touch attribution, which means somebody might have done a Google search on EQ leadership tips,
Mhm.
found your Substack, read a post, then later joined Substack, read a note, and then subscribed through your note. Substack would say notes drove that subscription, even though it was like 5 touch points over a month's time. And I feel like the platform is incentivized to say that Notes is a driver of growth because they want it to behave more like Twitter and they want us all writing a ton of notes, which I'm fine with. I have a lot of fun in the notes, as everyone has seen. I just say, like, you're not a newsletter site anymore, and you should just be sort of transparent about that and don't tell us that Notes is driving the growth just to get us to be more social. Like, just say you're social.
Mhm.
Des has a question. What data drives this? The data is 5 exports from your dashboard in Substack. It's the subscribers export, it's your growth export, it's your posts export, and there's 2 exports related to audience location and following. But the audience and geography one is sort of like there might be something interesting in there and they might not. So the first 3 that I mentioned are the principally the most important.
Yeah, and, you don't need an API or anything to do this. If you've got Jen's prompts, through her paid tier and a Claude account, you too can generate this HTML brief in, like, 15 minutes. Um, if your name isn't on this 6 people who moved the needle, it should be, you can take that up with Jen, because there's a lot of
I'm
really
on there
loyal
again.
there's a lot of really loyal people in the chat. I love you all. You're my fans. I'm your fan. I'm your biggest fan. And, yeah, we need
Hey,
with Jen because like,
we're actively compounding.
I don't see
What does that mean?
I don't see Andy on here. I don't see Dez on here.
Uh-oh.
Mm,
Uh-oh.
yeah, we do love a good compound.
Y'all got called out.
Well,
So
I don't think it's them. I don't and I'm not saying it's the prompts. I'm just, you know what I mean? Like,
okay, I'm gonna say
not
like, the the prompts do not say that to automatically see Jennifer Hong as an important person in your Substack life.
I don't know if that's an appropriate um, I also don't know what actively compounding means, but so moving right along.
Let's go to the next tab, Dan.
Yeah. Yeah, why don't we? So, earlier for those who are joining, there's archetypes. There's 5 different archetypes. I've got the multitude. That's the most popular type. The multitude archetype holds contradictions without resolving them prematurely. It says that I'm a chemist managing people at my other job. I write about emotional intelligence. I'm PhD adjacent technical identity. New way to say that. And a paladin's ethical framework. I don't have a I'm not a doctor, but I'm PhD.
You're not a doctor, but you play one on Substack.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, not the good kind. Um, So I think it's showing like my 3 different things here. So I've got my what in the
Your
fuck.
dimensions
Yeah, my what.
or your content genres.
Um, are these genres or dim
It could be like your series, like, well, it says personal essay, the Kestrel Edge brand,
Mhm.
and the series. To me, it's your dimensions as they execute as series, right?
Yeah.
That's how I read it.
By the way, everyone who doesn't know this, this is Jen. Jen made this, and you too can have this if you want it. Just so you. Um,
Well, and they'll all look different. This is Dan's specific version. So, but they'll all be beautiful because I always say if a dashboard's not beautiful and not the way you look at it, you won't use it. So that's why I wanted it to be personalized to however everyone's doing it. And this is something I didn't think of. Like you're doing it at this point in time, but you
mhm,
can also do it in like a month and see how it changes.
mhm.
Especially if you have like a significant growth event, that would be interesting. Or like you were saying, if you're debating on what to write next, it could be interesting to see how it fits relative to what you've already written.
Yeah. So right now it has my North Star sentences. He's closes the gap between the person teaching leadership and the person living it. So the reader can't use distance as an excuse, which is kind of cool, but I don't know if it fits all my stuff. And a couple other North Star sentences that I really liked were about this paladin approach that leadership is defined by what you're willing to put yourself on the line for, which I thought was like
Mm,
statement.
hmm.
It doesn't really have to do with me, it's more of a definition of leadership, but I thought that was tight. Um, sound off in the chat if you also think that that's a tight definition. Um, the
I,
invitation architecture. Oh, yeah, go for it.
I was going to say the thing I like in what there's something in the tone of the one that's up top and the paladin one where it's like, because I think you do have a tone, Dan, where it's sort of like, this is known. And so don't pretend like it doesn't exist.
Mm,
There is a little bit of a you don't have an excuse.
mm.
It's a little bit of a I don't know what you would call that. It's a little aggressive. But do you know what I
Yes,
mean?
a little
You're
sassy.
there there's a little bit of a it's there's a little bit of like don't be naive
Yeah.
or don't pretend. Maybe it's that. It's like don't pretend like all of the if you want to be a good leader, you can be one and if you're pretending it's cuz you don't know, that's on you. There is something that energy. I don't know how you what you call about it.
Yeah, I think, if anyone wants to take a guess at my North Star based off, please sound off. If we I agree with you. I think incompetent leadership is one of my biggest icks, you know?
Yeah.
Um, you know, incompetent leadership, people in power who are, making people's lives miserable because they refuse to do the self-work themselves, um, to be someone worthy of being in front of other people. I just think that's disgusting, and it really pisses me right off. Um and so I was doing an audio read for some of my posts, like, in a couple hours ago, right before we got on, I was, like, testing out a new little mic setup, and,
Mhm.
I was reading some of my posts, and I went back to one of my favorite posts, "What in the fucking shit is leadership?" Part 3, and, I was reading it out loud, and, dude, I was, like, mad reading that post, And I was like
Like
I was
you got riled up?
audio, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of intense." I don't know if I'd subscribe to this if I I listened to it. Um, so feedback there is
It's
needed.
no, it's the Draymond Green. It's
Yeah,
it's the passion league.
yeah. You know that
No, but
when you get, like, a sassy email and you're, like, not supposed to touch your keyboard because you shouldn't, like, reply in writing,
yes.
and you've got this, like, fired up feeling, and maybe you write, like, the most, like, bitchin' email that just it just fucking nails them,
Yeah, yeah.
like it wins, which you're not supposed to win in conflict. That's bad, and I don't. That's not what we do. But
Right.
Substack is like responding to that email, but it's not a work. it's there's no work consequences at the end of the send button.
Right, 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 right.
That's kind of how I view it sometimes. Anyways, tell us about the interview tab.
Okay, so in marketing, I think it's a hard science and a soft science, right? So there's data to look at, but some of it is qualitative, some of it has to be self reported. And like I said before, I don't know that all of the Substack data holds water, especially when it comes to attribution. And so I always knew an interview would be an important part of this exercise. And it's based off the data, meaning after the data read, what are 6 questions I still have for the author? And this helps because the next step is a recommendation plan. And so I basically want the quantitative, the qualitative, and the North Star. And that tells us how to move forward. And so I just think it's a really critical piece to this. In the brief, it's not just a recap of your answers, it's a synthesis of your answers. Um, so, you answered the questions. I haven't seen this at all. Like, is this useful for you to see as it shouldn't just be verbatim what you said. It should be
Yeah.
what did Claude hear in your answers?
Oh, fuck yeah. I thought it was demonstratively helpful because I think, up to this point, the prompts have all of your stuff, right? It's got
Hmm.
all of your posts. And for a lot of us, that is a lot of, that's all of the thesis statements that we've had since starting publishing our writing. So it's got a lot of very personal information and a lot about how you think. And because of that, the questions that I got stopped me in my tracks. I was like, how do I fucking answer this? Um,
Can you tell us what one of them was? Or like the one that you were like, oh my gosh, I have not asked myself this before?
well, well, I can't remember all of them. I actually did it like 3 different times, but I do know this. One of the questions was like, "Hey, maybe it was one of the last ones. Um, at one point, it had asked me like, "Hey, you've got a podcast, you've got a written interview series, you've got personal essays, you've got literature reviews, you've got letters to your family, you've also got lives and other podcasts. Like, what the fuck do they have in common?" I was like, "Good point. You're right. That's on me. I do. It's on me."
But,
And
but there probably is something in common.
right, it's the North Star that
Yeah.
we're defining. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
so, these are some of the outputs that you can get, and I think this is, really profound. I think it's really good. It asks me, to, like, figure out offers because I own and I founded an emotional intelligence training company. I love the work we do, and it's also, like, trying to figure out, am I trying to make an offer here? It's
Mm.
fact that there's a dichotomy in my work. I have 2 different publications to my name. There's one that's just company stuff, and that's where the newsletters goes. There's a personal one, and that's where all my, essays with fuck in the title go. Uh, and so,
I've seen
um,
those.
yeah, it also called out that like, all of my best posts have fuck in the title. So
Interesting.
I know, I'm stuck.
Oh, well.
So I think I and in the back of my head, I was thinking like, okay, there's all these different roads that I'm creating and there's all this different content that I'm making. And as a solopreneur, um, marketing is a difficult thing to wrap your head around. And the more you can, make all roads lead to Rome, or all roads lead to Jen Hong's, analysis of your Substack, the better, and you can just kinda unify things. So I think I don't know, it just kinda said what I was already thinking and feeling. The tactical tab. So it gave me 3
Yeah.
goals for the next 90 days. Um,
So the prompt specifically says give the author tactical recommendations that are now ongoing and long term. Because I think going through a diagnostic like this and having the questions answered and sorting out what your North Star and spine is, the biggest, like it all feels very strategic.
Yeah.
And you need to give something to people that is bite sized and digestible. And what can I do today now that I have this information? So I was like, it has to get boiled down to tactics at some point.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing is in the prompt, it is supposed to research what's sort of happening on a macro level as well as Substack best practices.
Yeah.
So it's not just like an AI version of what you should do next. It should be taking, and I also love to ask Claude to do research because I want to get it out of its data set.
Mhm.
Um, in case like something happened in the last 30 days that's material. So that's really the last two pieces. The tactical is, what can you do now and ongoing, now that you sort of know the spine of your work. And the research piece is interesting because it should be like I saw at the bottom, it said something about the EQ market.
Yeah.
So this is, I mean, like I've never thought about the market you work in, Dan. You work in the EQ market. Is it a growing market?
Oh, yeah, I'd totally say so. I mean, like, if you look at, I think it well, okay, first of all, it says 366 billion in global corporate trainings, which is kinda like
That's a
5 of
big
it.
number.
I know, it's a big number. That has nothing to do with me, it's just on my report. I think, like, it's definitely okay, there's definitely appetite. People know that the workplace is fucked, and there's definitely appetite for figuring out what's gonna unfuck it, and
Yeah.
I think that, you know, I'm not sure emotional intelligence training is the first thing that comes to people's mind, but I definitely have a philosophy that it's one of the most highest leverage things that you can invest in for your team, because kinda all things that we train later on, that help the workplace out all come from being able to have emotional intelligence. So, last week I posted a post on the importance of having good one-on-ones with your team because as managers, we just pretend that we're too busy and our team is too busy to have good one-on-ones. But if you're a piece of toast and you can't like listen to your team, um, your one-on-ones aren't going to be very effective. So like, how do you fix that? Say it with me, folks. Emotional intelligence. So like I think it's the foundation of the pyramid.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy. Anyways, so this is a really bitchin' report. Do you want to talk about the last piece here? Do you want me to download that HTML really quick?
Oh, if you want to, and actually what might make this interesting, and then we'll stop screen sharing and Andy can ask us her 20 questions. I I just love visuals. Like I'm a very visual person. So even when I'm in meetings and I'm trying to explain things to other people, I usually take out a pen and paper and I draw something. Because
Yeah.
it's just how I think. I think sort of structurally.
Yeah.
And so I was just trying to think of one more visual to give to people. And rather than, the dashboard is fine and good, but it's a lot of text and prose. Um, so this could change, right? Because the last piece is what I'll release the prompt in like 2 weeks for. So let's show it to people, but it's almost with the understanding that it doesn't have to be this. Because I'm sort of like, is it useful? I don't know. Like I had fun running it on my own data, but I need other people's data and point of view to know if it's interesting or not.
I mean, I don't know if you want my opinion.
Tell me.
I think it fucking slaps. I think it's great.
Well, then I definitely want your opinion.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think that you're not gonna find something. I mean, okay, so I've done a lot of things for Substack, like, analysis. I've had Cowork go and, like, create markdown files of all of my posts every week and then tell me, like, how my stuff is doing and, like, go look at my, trends and write me a brief or make me, like, a plan of what I should be posting next based off engagement. So I've dabbled in all those sorts of different things that you can do. I think, it's pretty free form, and I don't think it's entirely useful. And so I do think that you need a useful taxonomy that doesn't like tell you who you are, but helps tell you what's preventing you from being better. And I also think you do need some sort of structured analysis that you can keep coming back to. and it needs to be good enough that it's worth continuously reinvesting in, right? And so this is a way that you could have, my wife's making funny faces at me from the hallway. Uh, you wanna have a system that's good enough that you can keep putting inputs into it and get out something better and compare it to what came before, right? And that's the crux of knowledge management is that we build systems that are horseshit, and then we keep, like, pumping it full of data and then building another horseshit system, and then we keep, relearning the same things over and over again. You want a system that's good enough that you can keep using it. I think this is that. So yeah, definitely worth it. It's good. It's really good.
Yeah. So the last visual, you don't have to pull it up, but it basically it's a bubble chart. And so if you like Dan, if you have different series and one is, your personal standalone essays, one is an interview series, one is the podcast, those would show up as different bubbles. And the bubbles would be different sizes depending on how many entries you have. And then on the x axis is engagement rate, and on the y axis is views. And there's two different views, and one is just based on the raw data. I had a realization as I was looking at mine that raw data isn't good enough because in my first 3 months here, I think I had like 50 subscribers, and now I have a lot more. And so, of course, my views have gone up. And probably my engagement's gone down, right? Because, my sister reads all my posts. She's been there since day one. And now I have, people who are just tuning in when the occasional post is interesting to them. So the second view is normalized so that it takes into account the duration and age of your Substack, and that if views are way higher in recent months, it's because growth is more significant then. It also spits out a few insights and pros about what you can see in the data. The interesting thing I've seen having run those, because I run it on Becky's and Kyle's and myself. So it looks like for me, people show up to hear what I write, regardless of what topic I write on, even though they're pretty disparate.
Damn, what a
Um,
cool flex.
Whereas some of the other writers, it was very highly contingent on what they write about.
Right.
So, like, they're kind of only coming for one topic matter and not the other ones, which is not, here's the thing, information's just information. It doesn't have to be actionable. I think if you have a question, though, and you're neutral about how you move, to have the data and the information can help you answer that in an informed way. So,
Yeah. Dope. Is there anything else you want to say about the prompt system? Um,
no, I'm just so happy you tested it because
yeah,
I've
happy I
gotten
did too.
I've gotten some casual feedback.
Yeah.
I'm in Shannon Bindler's The Flow Room, and that's like all about how to create a paid tier. And even though I already created one, I'm like popping in there, and I like to go into rooms and just like shake things up for her. And somebody who is a paid subscriber of hers is a paid subscriber of mine.
Mhm.
And she wrote a comment and she said, I've tried a bunch of other methodologies. They always kind of came back with the same information. She was like, I ran your prompt and it actually told me something really different. And it's something I'm going to take into consideration as I build my paid tier. And I was just so heartened and touched by that because, like, you make something and you test it yourself, but I'm too close to my own information. So I'm sort of like, yeah, this all makes sense to me. Like, it's important that it makes sense to other people, regardless of what they write about, regardless of when they joined, do they have a paid tier, no matter the number of subscribers. So I'm just happy that it works and that people are finding it interesting and helpful.
I think it's great. Yeah, I don't have anything more to say. I think I've, kind of said it all. I think it's really great. Yeah, I think it's very useful.
Awesome.
Good use of time. Um, I think, for those wondering, I think it took me I didn't add one thing I wanted to do was, like, create a new API for it, an API call, so that way I could, like, count how many credits it would give me, like
Oh,
someone didn't have a Claude Pro account, and they were just like, "Okay, I'm gonna
yeah.
this. How much would it cost to do it? And I think it would be like under $5 to run it. Um,
Interesting.
and
Yeah.
and most of that is just like the text generations of the HTML files. Uh,
Mm,
and then the amount of text that it's looking at, when it goes and looks at the all of your
CSV exports. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are kinda like the 2 credit heavy moments, and then I think it took me 30 minutes to do the entire thing. So for 30 minutes and $5, you can have a report that, I spent an hour and a half reading and I'm still thinking about it. And I'm
Mm.
coming back to it. So, and it's informed my next, 3 months. So, yeah.
That is something really interesting to look at. Because
Right.
I've done so many of these now, and to me, they go so quickly, but also, my Claude is primed to do them,
Mm.
meaning it, like, knows all the steps, and
You
it's like,
call it
"Oh."
you call it Claudette? Claudette, your
It
Claudette?
depends, when it swears unsolicited, I call it Claude Caliente.
Mhm.
I call it Claudette, especially when it's woo-woo, because I'm imagining it, like, wearing a turban and it has a crystal ball.
Yeah.
Claudette just sounds like the right name.
Yeah. Um, so what do you wanna talk about next? So we've got like a smorgasbord of different fun topics for everybody.
Oh.
Also turn this into an AMA if anyone has questions.
I
Um,
I think we should let Andy ask some because I bet you she's been, like, holding on to them and,
yeah,
like,
we'll
she's
riff. We'll riff and we'll answer questions. So pop them in the chat.
okay, so my buddy Jho asked one. Okay, Jho, for your paid subscribers, will they have the prompts info they need to do this themselves? They will. So the way it works is, each of the Untouchables post is a paid post, but you can read the entire post, and then the prompt is the only thing that's behind the paywall. And so I think a good exercise for anyone who's interested is read post number 1, which is literally called I said it again, The Untouchables. And it'll walk you through doing the exports in the first step. And then the second one is Shannon Bindler's, and the prompt is the North Star generator. The next one is Charles Saint, and that's sort of the battle test, stress test of the North Star. Becky Hayward is next week. The prompt will include the HTML brand brief, the multi-tab thing that Dan showed us all, and then Kyle's will be the last one, which will be the visual register map, which is the bubbles of your series and genres and tones mapped against your views and engagement. And so by the end of the series, you basically have all the parts to do everything.
Shout out J-Ho.
Jho squared is here. This is like, and it's a good test that the live didn't combust.
Mhm.
Like, yet, no flames.
I know everybody's thinking of their questions they wanna put in the chat. So at the very beginning of the chat, you asked me if I'd ever done a live before, and I told you
Hmm.
the time that I did it with, a woman who's an HR professional, and we
Yeah.
talked about, like, firing people with empathy, and what that would look like, and I asked her to fire me, um, and live, and, I don't know if she liked it, but, that video
So what did she say? Like, did you feel good? Were you like, oh yeah, that makes sense, and I don't feel so bad, or were you like, did you swear?
I don't think I swore. I
Okay.
think it's pretty professional firing. It was due to lack of performance, which, I don't buy it, not for
You're
I
like,
didn't
no, no way,
I didn't
no
get
way.
paid or anything, so, you know, it's a performance action plan for those who aren't in the biz.
Hmm. Performance improvement plan.
Yeah,
It's a pip.
pip. Yeah, raise a hands who's gotten a pip.
You got pipped.
They don't get pipped here?
No
Okay.
hearts. Nope. There's some. Where's Ant? Oh, here's Andy. Andy. Okay. Here we go. Deep questions.
Yeah, which childhood wound is currently running your Substack? Nose goes.
What?
Oh.
What's this?
Oh,
what is
sorry.
what is that?
Performance support strategy. Okay. Well, before we answer Andy's question, let's circle back to pips versus a PSS. So Jeho in the chat said she prefers a performance support strategy, and Yeah, that's the right way to think about this. As a manager and you're a leader, your job is to support your team. And if they're not doing what you think they should be doing, your first question should be, well, did I tell them that they're supposed to be doing that? Because we all create invisible rules in our head all the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Second thing is, do they have the training they need? Third thing, do they have the support they need? Like, are we asking them to climb a mountain, but we didn't give them any climbing gear or give them climbing classes? And then we're just like, here's your granola bar, good luck. Um, so for if you've covered all those bases and you've made sure you've covered all those bases, then you can go start, I think, challenging someone and say, hey, I think we can do better here. But it's still a conversation about support, and it doesn't look like, do the job or get the fuck out. You know, um, it's really like, okay, what can I do to help you be better, or do better? And it should be a gradual plan, and it's about coaching and training. And if you can't get them there, with enough time, you can teach most people how to do everything, especially in the corporate environment where we're not like asking them to run like a sub 5 minute mile. Like we're not asking for physical, like, you know what I mean? Okay. Am I making sense?
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
cool.
me.
So support. I think it's definitely about support. Jeho's right. Um, your first reference frame should be looking inward, pointing the finger at yourself, thinking about, okay, do they have all the domains they need? And then go forward from that. And really, we're only looking at like methods of letting people go if we're talking culture mismatch, repeated behavior. And even then, like sometimes they're just in the wrong spot in the company. Like sometimes you've
Mm,
got a numbers person in a kind of like outward facing role or vice versa, and then you didn't ask what their dream job is or their dream role is. You need to be figuring out like, okay, where does this person, what does this person want to be when they grow up? And where do they want to be in 5 years? And what role in our company would you be excited to go show up and do every day?
I
And if that
feel
role
like
Yeah,
you
oh, sorry.
said JHO's taboo phrase. Well, it's taboo for job descriptions. Culture
What do
fit.
you culture fit? Oh,
Yeah.
I mean that, like, lightly,
It's
like,
overused. It's overused, right?
yeah, I really
Yeah.
gotta watch. I need, like, a post, like, an infographic on my wall of, yeah, let's talk about, childhood trauma. So what do you have an answer?
Hard left turn. Yeah, I
Which
have an answer. Do you?
oh, no, you go and I'll
You'll you'll noodle.
yeah,
So I think I talk about all my wounds all the time. And I think I talk about them depending on if we're on notes or if we're on posts. But I've also talked about them in both. Um, so I was actually thinking about it as I read that question because I think I've talked about the really obvious ones where something dramatic happened in my life and it really changed my way of thinking. But now I'm sort of thinking about the subversive piece, right? Like, why am I always rebelling or being contrarian or calling out systems that I think are structurally flawed? And why is it always this? Like, and is that a childhood wound? And I think there might be something there where I don't like the feeling of something, system, or a platform trying to dupe me or anyone else. There's something that like really enrages me about that, where I'm like, don't treat us like we're stupid.
say more. Say more.
I don't know what that is. I maybe it's everyone in my family I think is super intelligent, a lot of raw intellect, not necessarily a lot of EQ, right? So, and I think my dad specifically, he always thought if you're smart, you're going to be rich. And he's like very like into like rich famousness, like fame, which is why he like when he found out I had a Substack, he literally was like, I hope you become rich and famous. It's like, I don't think that's gonna happen from Substack, Dad. But like, so there, I probably have something about intelligence and
Mhm.
having my intelligence questioned that is childhood wound.
Okay.
I'm just guessing because
Yeah.
that would be the less obvious one. I have other ones too.
to go now?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So I've talked about this a little bit on Substack, but, oh, Andy said you had a good answer, and Des gave you a smiley face.
Oh,
Yeah, it's great.
one of my
Um,
childhood wounds is being a school nerd, so I like positive validation.
yeah, okay, I was just about to go there too.
Okay, go for it.
So, growing up, um, my handwriting was so legible that, like, no one could read it. Because I had really bad ADHD and I was unmedicated until I was an adult. And so from 2nd grade for like multiple years, I remember having to skip gym class and lunch to go eat in like a closet with like some other ladies who would just sit there and like watch me handwrite on paper. And I had
Really?
like some sensory issues. And so like I would always want to like write on like a stack of paper, not an individual paper, because then the ballpoint needle would you could feel it moving on the fucking wood. And that just pissed me off.
I actually get that.
Oh, yeah, the fucking worst. And I love
Yeah.
fancy pens, I'm, like, big into stationery. I love, like, a really good ballpoint,
Mhm.
awesome, like, a great mechanical pencil or my
Mhm.
so anyways,
What
yeah,
about Japanese stationery store?
uh, yeah. Oh, hey, shout out, same special handwriting classes. Yeah,
Oh,
shout out. Didn't help at all. Okay, my handwriting's slightly better, but I think it wasn't the handwriting classes that did it. I think it was just, like, me slowing down. Well, I always really liked my aunt's handwriting, so I made her send me a sample of her handwriting, and then I turned it into a computer font and would print it out, and I'd use it as a stencil so I could write over it. Um,
oh, you're so dedicated.
yeah, and so I, like, retaught myself how to handwrite based off of someone's handwriting that I really liked.
Hmm.
Anyways, so and I think growing up, there was, like, a lot of standards around, like, what kind of a person you should be, and so I hold all that with me, and so, like, my personal lie is that, like, I'm not worthy of love or validation unless I work hard enough to get it, unless there's, like, an achievement or something, and so I'm really bad about rest, I'm really bad about, like, working too hard,
Hmm.
so, like, I don't I like yeah, I just feel like I have to, like, work really hard to be worthy of love. So that's a childhood wound that I'm carrying with me. Good
I
question.
have I have that one too. The
You got that
rest
too?
the rest one, yeah, and the worthiness one, yeah, because I
Yeah.
can't if I have a task list of weekend errands and it's like 5 to 7 things, I have to do them all until I'm allowed to chill.
Yeah.
And you know how we were talking about this live and I said, "Oh, maybe I'll have some prosecco or something," and then I told you, I said, "I have nothing calendared this weekend."
Mhm.
Like, anyone who was following me on notes this morning knows I didn't get out of bed till, like, 11 a.m., which is totally unusual for me. I was up at 6. I got up, I fed Zuni, and I got back into bed, and then I was just, like, on my phone, like, saying silly things on Substack, and to me, it was, like, a complete indulgence, and it's because all I had today was this live, and, like, I already did the laundry, I already did the grocery shopping, like,
Yeah.
all my checklist was but I was allowed to rest, and so I rested really hard.
Are
But
you gonna crack open the prosecco? Like, are you gonna go get the rosé?
no, I mean, if we end up staying on here for a long time, I might, but if it's just normal, no.
We've had really great viewership retention. We've had
Have we?
yeah, I mean, like, I haven't seen the numbers going down, so I think we're doing something right.
That's
I don't know.
good.
Anyways, hearts from gang. Okay, we're still in our AMA portion, so feel free to drop your questions below in the chat. I saw someone ask what my favorite mechanical pencil was. Uh,
Mm.
I got it right here. It's the Uni Kurutoga point 0.5. So this is a rather special mechanical pencil. I really like. Here, let me hold this up.
It's a
Maybe
little
it'll zoom.
blurry. Oh, there you go. Ooh, yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah. It's got a really nice grip, and you can when you press, it rotates the lead, so that way you're always writing on a sharp edge.
I didn't realize you had all of these tactile things. I have them too, but I don't think they're as expressed as loudly. Like, I'll still write something even if I don't have a stack. But I know if it's on a stack, it feels better. Like I know exactly what you're talking about, the sensory piece of it, but it doesn't change my behavior. You know,
Yeah. Andy asked, "Who's your hall pass?" Do you want me to go first this time?
I think you should because it sounds like you already know.
Okay, yeah. So, those who don't know, I have a lovely wife. I love her. Her name is Kara. We've been married for several years. She's my best friend. We've watched all of One Piece together. So for those in the chat who know about sailing the five oceans blue, sound off. My hall pass would be if I was in another marriage and then I found her and then I cheated on my husband or whatever with her. So she would be my hall pass and it would be like really steamy. Um, so we're talking like hypothetical alternate dimension. I would be with a less cool partner and I would immediately leave them to go like right off into the sunset with her. It would be like kind of like Pulp Fiction, like pack your bags, get on the back of my motorcycle, like we're off into the sunset,
Can I ask a
hammer
follow? Can I ask a follow up?
on the beach.
Can I ask a follow up?
Well, sure, yeah, okay.
I can't help myself,
Yeah,
especially because you're into the RPG.
yeah,
This
yeah.
this this sounds like a really good role play.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, cheating on my
I'm
wife
gonna.
with my
Yes,
wife.
I'm gonna set it up for you, and please tell Kara that I heavily encourage doing this
Oh, okay.
next weekend.
Mhm.
You guys separately go to the same bar,
Oh, yeah, and I pick her up.
and in your mind, you're married to whoever, someone really boring and unattractive, and that you don't vibe with at all, and it's like 7-year itch, let's call it. And
Yeah,
you see Kara across the bar,
yeah,
and you're immediately like, "Holy shit, I need to talk to this woman." And then you go
yeah,
pick her up, and then she's like, I notice you have a ring on," and you'll be
uh-huh.
like, "Yeah."
What ring? And then I swallow it.
And then
Yeah,
you guys just take it from there. I'm not going to write the whole script, but
yeah. No, Kara's a badass. She's got a "Take Up Space" tattoo on her thigh, like, in big block lettering.
mhm.
Um, she's really cool. I would see her across from the bar because 'cause she'd have a sweet little anime
No.
shirt or something. She's on the other side of the room making hearts at me. So, maybe
No.
I'd cheat on my hypothetical other partner for you.
Why do you have a hypothetical other partner?
What'd you say?
Why are you hypothetically having the other partner?
She asked me why I'm hypothetically having which is the right
Wait,
question. They
tell
asked me who my
her.
you.
No, but for real. You
She's like, "No, but for real." I
Wait,
don't know.
also tell her about my recommendation.
Oh, so Jen, do you wanna come over here and say hi? You don't have to. There's only 31 people on.
I'll just wave.
Okay, cool.
Hey girl, hey.
Everybody see her straight teeth? She's hot as fuck. Okay, write that down. So yeah, your turn.
Oh, someone just asked me this recently because we were talking about back rooms,
Yeah.
and they were like, I was like, I would not go through that wall. I was like, mm-mm. I was like, I maybe would go once if I fell through, and then I would stay out. I was like, there's nothing in there that is seductive or compelling enough for me to keep going back.
Mhm.
And then said person was like, what if Pedro Pascal's in there?
Oh, shit.
And then I was like, you know what?
What if?
I'm pretty sure he's gay. And like, I love him, but also it might be like something narcissistic because we're kind of the same. Like, we have the same astrology and his sister has the same astrology. So I'm just sort of convinced he's like the gay male version of me.
Right.
So I'm just sort of like in love with myself. But he's sort of my whole past. I mean, everybody knows if they followed me on notes, like I love Pedro Pascal. I love Oscar Isaac. I love Keanu Reeves. Like,
Yeah. Do you think you're seeing yourself in him, or do you think you're just, like, recognizing, like, what's good in the world, you know?
he is just so like delightful.
Mm.
And he's really soulful.
Mhm.
I don't want to turn this into like a Pedro admiration moment because I could go on. I could go on and on and on. Like, I just think
Mhm.
he's I did a whole post on what defines cool because there's a research paper. It's a psychology publication, and they've narrowed it to 6 attributes that are globally consistent. And so I was trying to apply the rubric to a person and a brand, and he fits it perfectly. So he's got like extroversion, there's a little bit of hedonism, there's a little bit of like controversy or rebellion. So there's all these things that he's just so cool. And I guess I'm really into cool guys.
He's kind of like a good bad boy. You know what I mean?
So one of the things I said in The Untouchables is the one thing that's hotter than a reformed bad boy or girl is an integrated one.
Yeah. He's an emotionally integrated bad boy.
That's my hall pass. Even if he's gay and all we do is watch stupid movies together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you get emotionally integrated for all the bad boys, watching?
Are there bad boys here?
I think there's lots of bad boys here, and I think that, lots of bad boys in the chat.
Oh,
And,
the new EQ daddy.
Pedro deserves the crown. I think that, the answer is, you should learn emotional intelligence, and that's my pitch for subscribing to the Updraft.
Should we make this like if you want to be my hall pass, you just need to pay subscribe to the Updraft?
Yeah, if you want access to the fucking list, man, I'll tell you what list is, and it's my friend's paid Substack subscription is Indie Substack. He's by the way.
I'm like, you have to go through EQ training, and then maybe you'll be put on the hall pass, and then maybe if I cheat on my partner, then you're on a list.
Yeah, Pedro, if you're watching this, UDDRAFT. Updraft.
I just know he and I would get along so well, but we'd probably be besties. I don't know that it would be romantic.
Des had one quick question, and I saw we had another one from Andy below. Des' question: How will you both play in the film of your life? Who will play you? Oh, who will play you? Who will play you in the film of your life?
Mm.
Okay.
I was just asked this. Literally, like a week ago. I have a
Sorry, no, go for it.
No. Does Kara have an answer?
Yeah, me. I don't know. Dude, I don't you go.
No, she said that you should play yourself.
I'd play myself. I've been method acting for
What about Dan Stevens?
Dan Stevens? Dude, it can't be another Dan. I can't have
a third Dan in the mix.
Okay, so I'm actually super salty because yesterday we had a workout and I crushed it. And in CrossFit they have like a whiteboard, right, of all your names and your times, and it's supposed to make competitive and good. And one thing I've been wrestling with on my journey of being healthily competitivenessly, is there was a Dan in the morning class who like beat me by like 10 seconds. And I was
oh boy.
If there was anyone else, it wouldn't have mattered. But it was a Dan. And I was like, how come, like, come on, like another fucking Dan? It had to be another Dan who beat me. Like Dan. Me.
This is like your Bizarro. Like Superman's Bizarro, right?
Anyone but someone named Dan or Dan Steven.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Okay, what about you?
So I was literally asked, I said it again. I was asked this a week ago, and the woman I work with, she said Greta Lee, but that's because there's like only one cool Asian actress right now. And for anyone who knows, I've done casting bits before, and I said that Amanda Jane Lee, AJL, is Greta Lee. And I said J-Ho is Aubrey, the actress from White Lotus, like super deadpan and funny. And so I don't think it's Greta Lee. And then I was like, I don't think there's a lot of Asian American actresses that vibe like me. So I finally said, Arden Cho. She like voices one of the characters for K-pop Demon Hunters.
Mhm.
And then my friend said Karen Fukuhara, or was it Fukuhara? Fukuhara? She was in an episode of Black Mirror, like one of my favorite episodes, actually. So
And what do you think about Aubrey Plaza?
she's so deadpan and funny, and that's how I see JHo. Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Yep, 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 yep.
Andy asked Andy asked what your emotional support delusion is. So for those who don't know, an emotional support delusion is defined as a rigid, false belief maintained despite clear contradictory evidence.
Hmm. Let me see. I feel like this is a good one for someone to know outside of yourself, right? Because if you're deleted, you'd be like, that's not a delusion, that's life. Like it needs third party perspective, maybe.
I think you can choose to be Delulu. I think Delulu can be a choice as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, probably like a proper psychological delusion, you probably need external guidance. So maybe chat, maybe you could tell us what our delusions are while we take stabs at it. I'll take a stab. I think my delusion is that I can outwork the need to rest, even though I write about how you can't outwork the need to rest all the time. That's like half my posts.
I have one.
Yeah, go for it. Did that bring it up for you?
It's like epiphany. No.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I think I've lived most of my career as a bit of a control freak. Like I was always like, if I want something, I can get it.
Okay.
And that worked for me for a long time. And then recently I was like, there's a lot I don't control. And, I think a lot of people probably felt that through the pandemic. Or it sort of lifted the veil on all the things we thought we controlled. We found out that we never really did.
What's like the hardest thing for you to let go of control? Oh, sorry, go for it.
Well, so I was going to say now I am so trying to let go of control that I'm like, everything's going to work out. It's all going to fall into place. It might not be the way I think it should, but it's going to work out. Like, and that's sort of but that might be a delusion. It might not all work out. Bad stuff could happen.
What if they're both delusions, but the second one's a better delusion? From I gimme because I want to Hakuna Matata,
Mhm.
that one's better.
We're ranking delusions now.
Let's make a tier list.
Should we make a taxonomy?
Yeah. Yeah.
I could build a structure for this.
Okay, cool. I don't see any other questions in the chat. So everybody must be loving this.
If other people think I have a delusion, how about that? Like I can date on Substack. That's a good one.
Um,
I tried. It failed.
W Rose W said she just got on meds. Congratulations, stay medicated. Can you both describe what we were talking about? As I've been successful with business, but after my beloved spirit cat died, I haven't been able to do some stuff. I'm sorry, W Rose. Dang. How can Substack aid me in creating my account to create funds? Kind of still discombobulated. Damn. I don't have a paid tier on my Substack, and so I might be the wrong person to ask. But Jen, you might have a pithy answer to this.
I actually think Shannon Bindler is doing something called the Flow Room, and it's helping creators on Substack create their paid tiers and finding like what that offering should look like. And she has said, if you can't afford it, like direct message her and she's going to work something out for you. So that would actually be my recommendation. And I'll be in there, even though I'm not trying to develop a paid tier. I feel like I'm in there. I'm sort of like her cheerleader. We found each other early on the platform and we're friends in real life. We both live in the Bay Area and we've met in person a few times. But sort of my work and her work go hand in hand because knowing what your brand is and then knowing what in your writing or expertise could become a paid tier complement each other. And so she hasn't asked me to do this, but I plan to sort of support everybody that's in the Flow Room experience, working that out. So that would be my answer because it's not a quick answer. It's like yeah, Dan listed it in the chat. It's Shannon Bindler. And her Substack is called The Flow.
Cool. Yeah, sorry for the loss of your furry friend Rose.
Yeah.
They're doing better in the afterlife. Um, okay, cool. You got it. That's perfect. So, to your earlier question, Rose, we're doing an AMA kind of right now. So we're just doing an Ask Me Anything. So far we've talked about um, our hall pass, and then been discussing our childhood trauma. And Andy just asked, and what are also our self care delusions? Um, so Andy just asked, also, chat, I'm out of coffee and kombuchas are strictly water. Oh, so
I have a huge thing of water.
Andy asked,
So I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like your reception froze a little bit because I don't hear you and your video is not moving. Oh, you're back. I should check my internet connection because I never know if it's me or the other person. Do quickfast.com. Oh, it might be my internet. Oh, no, it's not. Mine's fine.
back?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Oh, yes.
What happened?
I don't know.
Oh.
What boundary we preach and struggle to practice?
Let's see. When we go back, I want to read it myself. What's a boundary you preach but struggle to practice? People pleasing, probably.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah. Did I steal yours?
What does that look like for you?
Oh, also over functioning, which probably goes hand in hand with the people pleasing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just can't not help.
Using all them people.
If somebody, and it's people won't even ask for help. And I'm like, you need help. Here's help.
Yeah.
And I'm sure some of them are like, oh, you didn't need to help me with that. What time
Yeah.
is it there? It's 3:37 for me, and I think that's what 4:37 for you.
Yeah,
Are we an
that's correct.
hour apart? Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I yeah, I think that's good. I think getting more specific with my boundary around, the need to people please, it's saying no, or being able to, like, say,
Yeah.
like, me. We've recently I mean, shoot, I messaged you about this just this week, that I was engaging with someone and I was like, like, is this content for me? Is it not for me?"
Oh yeah.
Really hard for me to, like, set boundaries with other people, and so, but that's something I preach a lot, so, yeah.
Well, so the thing I mentioned to you, and I'm practicing, is trying not to fix other people, especially if they didn't ask for it. And I think this comes up on Substack, right? Because I've been blocking people who are acting weird. And sometimes you're like, oh, if I could just have a conversation with them and understand where their head's at, like I could probably like clear up this misunderstanding.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? Whatever this misunderstanding this person has, it has nothing to do with me. Like he just walked into Substack with all his wounds open and accused me of hurting him when I haven't spoken to him at all and don't know who he is. And I was
Dude,
sort of like,
why'd you hurt him?
just by being, just by being,
Yeah.
just by being. So I was like, whoa, I don't know what happened to you, but bye.
You ever, like, carry that with you? You know, like, I have a hard time, like, letting those things go, you know?
Um, so my MO is something will upset and annoy me for like a short period of time. And I think sometimes people get worried because I'll be like, "La, da, 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 da," and I sort of vent it out, but then it truly passes and clears that way.
Mhm.
So I'm not the person who is like, I'm fine, I'm fine. And then a week later, I'm like, "Ugh, that thing is still bothering me." Like it expresses itself at the time. But to the
Got it.
point where people are like, "Oh, are you okay?" Because it kind of all comes out at once. But then I'm like, "Yeah, it'll be fine. Just give me like 10 minutes." So
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't carry it because I kind of let it out, but in the manner of letting it out, people get a little worried. That's what I've observed.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good
Do you,
point.
well, how does it go for you?
I just overthink it to death, and it dominates my life for, like, 5 to 6 hours, and, you know, I usually make a decision to move on, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
So I think for me, it's really just about, like, trying to make quicker decisions or quicker stances on where I'm at, so that way I can end the cycle and feel the feeling, get through the emotional tunnel out to the other side, you know, and I'm good to go. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, Andy has another question. If you were a couple in couples therapy, me and Dan, or just like in our own couples therapy, which one
Yeah.
of you would start correcting the therapist? Probably both of us.
Yeah.
Can I tell a story?
Yeah, tell it.
I
I don't have chat, by the way, so I'm gonna figure that out, but keep going.
you don't have chat?
Yeah, it's ever since my Wi-Fi reset, I don't have chat anymore, so you're gonna have to
Oh, okay.
ask.
So Andy met me and you in couples
Okay.
therapy.
Okay,
But
good.
so
Okay.
okay, so Dan raised his hand, but I actually think I probably would too a little bit, but Dan would probably do it and he'd probably swear while he was doing it. Um, I have a funny story though, because I dated this guy who's English for 5 or 6 years. I lived in London when I was younger and we met there and we worked for the same company and the company moved us to New York. And we also moved to SF and then we moved from SF back to New York. And I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 years in, we were having problems. Actually, it was 5 years in because we did the therapy and then we broke up like in the course of doing therapy. So it was it was towards the we went to therapy and it was emergency time because we were on the precipice of breaking up. And he's English, right? So he spent the whole time trying to like charm the therapist. Like I'm sure she could tell, but I could observe that he was just trying to be his like charming English self, like, and I was just like, oh my God, he just wants a therapist to like, like, and I didn't call him out on it, but it was just funny to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, dude, that's nuts. That's really nuts.
She said something really interesting though.
What'd you say?
She said that because we moved so often, there was always something kind of new and novel that got injected into the relationship. And then once we kind of had to stay still for a bit was when we realized that we had some incompatibilities.
Got it.
It was just a theory. She also gave us some paperwork and it said something like, if you feel your heart rate raise, you should walk away from the conversation.
Did you ever do that?
Well, so we went to one session or maybe two, and then by the time we went to the next one, we were like, okay, so we broke up. And then she just helped us broker the breakup.
Oh, that's nice. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because there were a few things we had to talk about. And he was like, he thought we were going to still live together. And he was like, can I still bring you tea in the morning? I was like, no. And then he was like, who gets the cat? I was like, I do.
Yeah.
He was like, can I visit the cat? And I said, no. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think with one of my earlier therapy experiences, one time I thought that my therapist wasn't kinda, like, getting it, and so I brought a PowerPoint of how I felt. Um, and so I just, like, had it on a little laptop, like, clicking through slides, like, giving a little presentation about my feelings. Um,
That's
so
amazing. If you still have that, you should post it.
no, no, it's long gone, dude. It is in
Were
the
there graphs? Now you could make one with Claude. You should make that a paid tier.
Yeah, that's right. A paid tier in Claude, and you get to
therapist PowerPoint.
Yeah, you get to see my mood spreadsheet and my therapy PowerPoint that I use to,
Bye, JHong.
Cool. Okay, now that JHong's gone,
I know it's time to wrap up.
Unless anyone else has any pressing questions.
I think Andy got to ask at least 4.
Cool.
She can send us the balance. I'll answer them in notes. I don't care.
So we did talk about any previous podcast stuff. We didn't talk about backrooms, and we also hot dog romance literature.
The only thing about the hot dog romance literature that I thought was funny is that, because didn't you put into Claude or something?
Yeah, I wrote chapter 1 and put it to Claude.
So, first of all, I think it's hilarious that you've actually tried to write it. And I look forward to reading it one day. Mm-hmm. Second of all, I thought this is your North Star trying to say itself. that you can't help but write about leadership dynamics, even when it's hot dog erotica.
Yeah, and it's more of like the beginnings of like a romance. To set the stage, Boudin. All of them have names that are either that are based on condiments, or like sausage or hot dog. So,
Boudin's a blood sausage.
Yeah, Boudin, the blood sausage, is
Boudin Noir.
Yeah, he had a very like prolific career, and then his boss Dijon is, he's kind of in like a micromanager relationship with her. It's not going well. And so I accidentally ended up writing about leadership dynamics anyways. And Claude was like, this is a great, like perspective of what it's like to have a micromanager boss, just post it. but no. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. So
I like how you gave Claude such a dorky voice.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, dude.
Awesome.
Should we wrap it?
Yep.
Right, cool.
If we want to cover other, we can always do another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peace, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.